YouTube, what's going on? It's Joe back again for Synth Pop Review. I'm sorry it's been a while since I made a video. I've been very busy. I'm starting up my own business soon, so anytime anybody's involved in anything like that, spare time just becomes harder and harder to come by. But anyway, I'm back, and I wanted to do a review that I've done before. When I say that, I have another channel, and I did a review on this release, but I wanted to do it for this channel, for Synth Pop Review, instead of just reposting the same review, because I have a little bit more I want to say about it. Let's talk a little bit about Erasure, and I'm wearing my Erasure shirt right now from the concert that I attended in 2011 for their Tomorrow's World Tour. Fantastic show. Let's talk about Erasure's 6th studio album. This is I Say, I Say, I Say. Came out in 1994. This is the album that started my love affair with Erasure. This is another Columbia House find. I'm sorry, Columbia House, wherever you are. I know you're probably dead and buried, but please, the ghost of Creditors Past, don't rise up and try to suck my soul out. I was young. You let anybody sign up with Columbia House. It's your fault. I had already discovered Erasure via their Pop, the first 20 hits, which was fantastic, and I liked what I heard when I was a kid. But then I picked this up. You buy one on Columbia, you get 20 for free, and it just blew me away from the first listen. This is track number 1, Take Me Back, and I was just, as a child, I was just obsessed with the sounds and the fantasy element of this album right here, and a little bit of backstory about this album. Vince and Andy had already had, quite a bit of success with their past 4 studio albums, and when they released this, they were just running on adrenaline. They'd become superstars in the United Kingdom. This was their 5th release that was released at number 1, and they were just everywhere back then. They were on talk shows, Saturday morning kids shows. They were just all over the place. They were just superstars. They had just come off, I think, to the world tour that they were promoting for Chorus, and that was an amazing show, the phantasmagorical show, and they were still really popular in the United States too, and this dropped, like I said before, it dropped at number 1 in the UK in '94, and I think it was 14 or 18 here in the US Billboard. It was produced by Martin Wire, I think that's how you pronounce it. He was one of the guys responsible for Heaven 17. Heaven 17 split away from Human League, and I like Heaven 17. I love the Human League, but he produced it. Martin did, and I think you hear that. I think having Martin producing and with Vince on the soundscapes of this, although Vince is kind of like a megalomaniac when it comes to the sound of his records, I think it was just sort of a match made in heaven, because I know that Vince and Martin are friends, and they probably had a really good time working on this, and you're going to hear that all the way through this release. It's such a synth-heavy release, and it's unique in the fact that, again, Vince is using even then ancient synthesizers, even for '94. He didn't use any drum machines. He used, this synthesized drum sounds that he spread apart, and moved around and put up into the ether and made it sound amazing. That was track number 1, Take Me Back. Kind of a slow start to the release. I like that little trill there at the end. Track number 2 is I Love Saturday. It jumps into kind of high octane territory. This is kind of a dance-friendly track. A lot of good music videos came out of this release too, and I Love Saturday is one of them. It features Andy on kind of a tropical island. He's on vacation, and Vince isn't around, and Andy's missing him, and he's writing him letters. I wish you were here. XOXO Andy. Cute. But I remember as a child just listening to this over and over and over, and just being so impressed that music could move me like it did. I listened to a lot of music as a child, but this was the first time that a band really sank into my soul and, you know, changed me. The music changed who I was. And I'll always be thankful for this, for Andy and Vince releasing this album right here, because it really created a passion for Erasure, and you know, I'll love them for the rest of my life, and I hope they continue to make beautiful music. There's 10 tracks on this album. They're all good, in my opinion. They're all fantastic. You can put the CD in, track 1 through track 10. You just play it, you can repeat it. It's just wonderful. The standout tracks for me are, of course, the brilliant single "Always." Even if you don't know who Erasure is, you've probably heard this song. It was a single in the UK, and it was a single here in the United States of America. It was on the top 20. I remember listening to like the local pop station, and they played it on, like, you know, it was always like number 5 or number 8. Another song that has a really interesting video. I'm not going to go into each and every one of them, but definitely check out the video. I'll try to post a link in the Dropbox of this video. This song has, I mean, it's probably in my top 3 Erasure songs. It has the most interesting soundscape. There's really no song that sounds like this over the last 30 years, any electro synth song. And Andy's vocals are just so gorgeous. He just hits the most amazing notes. It's such a touching song, and it's such a positive, upbeat song. You know, it's a song of longing. You know, just for, you know, above and beyond the kind of quirky video. You know. It just fills me with hope every time I listen to it. It's a song that I never get sick of. I can just listen to it over and over and over. And the little trills and the nuances that Vince puts in, you know, I mean, it's basically like, you know, living inside of some sort of a fantasy world, you know. And I like that, you know. I like to, when I listen to music like this, I like to be transported, and that's what makes it just fantastic. Another song that I really like is "So the Story Goes," track number 4. This is a slow song. It has a slow build, and then it kind of rises in the middle, and then it falls at the end. It's eerie, this song is too, and Vince's lyrics occasionally like fade in and fade out, you know, and it's very haunting, and it has some backup singers that are like chorus. They're like a chorus, or like almost like a Gregorian chanting. That's very quirky, and I dig it. The rush of the sea beneath my feet. Just gorgeous as vocal. Such a lovely world, oh so magical, precious like a bird, wrapped up in a shroud. It's just, I mean, I think this is, for my money, also some of the finest lyrics that Erasure ever produced and wrote. It has a nice theme to it, you know. It's a fantasy theme, this is, and it's a romantic release. It's a release about longing and about change. By this time, Erasure had found great, intense fame, you know, and I think that they were probably riding high on that, you know, in a really good spot right here. But I imagine that the cracks were starting to show, especially in America, where by this time, and I've said this before, by this time, you know, grunge had taken over, and, you know, the New Orders and the Erasures and the ABCs and the Human Leagues. There just wasn't much room for that, you know. And even though it was successful in America, this was really the last true success that Erasure had in America. And the bands like Depeche Mode were able to survive because they changed their sound and evolved to a more rock-heavy sound. Erasure, you know, their subsequent releases, they evolved too, but they evolved in a different direction. You know, they came out with a self-titled Erasure album, and it was more almost an ambient release. But you know, they suffered after this, I think. They released Cowboy and the self-titled album, and I think for my money, Erasure from say like 1998 to 95 was the golden age for me personally. I know a lot of people like the Innocence and but for me this is it, and I will always appreciate Vince and Andy for releasing this because I love it. One thing about the slipcase here, it's just very, very interesting. I remember hearing an interview from Vince and Andy that said that they wanted to have kind of a clash between like traditional 3D cell animated cartoon and the new digital kind of computer technology. So in the background you see like a traditional like cartoon background with little tiny Vince and Andy. You probably can't see it right here. And then this Erasure up here is more of a digital design, computer design. And back then it was kind of quirky and weird and looked kind of interesting. Looks a little dated now, but it's beautiful. And the slip and the cover and the slip and the sleeve are just very quirky and interesting. You can buy the CD everywhere for next to nothing. I just can't help where I go to a used CD store buying a copy. Usually it's like $1 or $3. I've got like 8 or 9 copies around. It's just nostalgia, really. I just love the purple and white, all the different color schemes they use in the booklet, all the lyrics in there. But back to the music. I also really enjoy, this is Run to the Sun. This is track number 5. Not one of my favorite tracks on here, but I still really like it. Another really dance-heavy song, another really quirky video came out of this. It's very good summertime music, drinking mojitos, spraying each other with hoses. Probably one of my favorite tracks besides Always and So the Story Goes is track number 7. All Through the Years. It's just another song that's almost nautical in its soundscape. I can imagine like a submarine underneath the water. But just some amazing trills and tones that Vince produced. And Andy's lyrics in this song again are just almost perfect. Longing to sail on through the night to the stars, on up to sunrise, where the moon hides the tears of you. Yeah, that's vintage Erasure right there. It just touches me right here. It's enough to almost make me tear up, because it's such beautiful synth music. And it's so hopeful, and he's singing about, he's singing about experiences, and going back to a certain time that I think is a purer time, it's innocent. So, if you have a chance, all you Erasure fans know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm sure you really like this release. But if you haven't heard of Erasure, maybe the young people that are watching this channel, and you are liking the synth pop music that's out right now, do yourself a favor, go to eBay, pick up a copy of this for a couple dollars, download it. You won't be sorry. Discover Erasure. Let them, move you. Listen to music. I want to say this to young kids, and I don't want to sound pretentious, but when you listen to music, find something that moves you, and if it moves you so much that it brings a tear to your eyes, then good on you, because that's what music is supposed to do. It's supposed to make us passionate. It's not supposed to be insipid or throw away. So check out Erasures. I say. You won't be sorry. And I'm sorry for not doing a review sooner. I'm going to try to keep up with this channel and do the best I can. Anyway, guys and gals, I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.